Hello team. In this video, we're going to talk about the overhead implied when we use virtual machines. So we've seen that virtual machines are great for cloud environments because they provide isolation, they allow a cloud provider to place multiple tenants on the same server, and they let customers do whatever they want within their virtual machines. So here we have a server, a hypervisor, and we are running two VMs on the same server. And these VMs can run different operating systems. So there's a lot of flexibility. And each tenant, each cloud customer, inside his own VM, he can run any operating system and also any application that he wants. So he can install any libraries, any frameworks. So he has a lot of flexibility. So this is great. However, this flexibility does come at a cost. So one cost that we have to pay is that the server will be running multiple different operating systems, and each operating system will have to manage their own resources. So this is additional overhead that the server will need to deal with. Also, each virtual machine uses virtual devices to communicate with the real hardware. And these virtual devices also add overhead in this communication. So whenever the virtual machine needs to access the network or write or read something from disk, it will go through a virtual device. And this is another layer of indirection that adds overhead. And there are other overheads. For example, whenever we start a VM, the guest operating system has to boot, read all of its data from disk, and then go through the boot process and then start running the application. So this takes some time and is again added overhead. And also virtual machines don't share memory between them, and they're kind of hard to migrate memory between virtual machines. So I wrote here static memory allocation because the virtual machines, they receive a fixed amount of memory and it's hard to change this memory over time. So virtual machines are great when we run applications permanently. So we start the application and then we just leave it running indefinitely. So this is good for virtual machines because the overhead of booting the operating system is amortized over time. So we boot the operating system once and then we just leave the application running, so it's not a problem. Another property is that virtual machines is good when we run multiple applications in the same operating system, in the same virtual machine. So this, we're going to pay the overhead memory and CPU overhead for running the operating system once, and then we will run multiple applications within the same VM. Unfortunately, this isn't common for many cloud applications. So auto-scaling means that applications do not run permanently. So whenever load increases, you might spawn new instances of our application. And when load decreases, we're going to tear some of the instances down. So, instances come and go over time, which isn't great for virtual machines. And also, most deployments have a single application. So running a whole virtual machine and an operating system to run a single or few applications inside isn't very cost effective. So these factors mean that virtual machines are not a great match for highly dynamic cloud applications. And this is why we will see containers as an alternative in this set of videos.